want to urge all the airlines to observe the regulations and the measures that we have put into place. We are also priding ourselves that the measures we have proven into place have passed the test of time, and that we have not had cases, if there's any. There are people here who are capable. I'm surrounded by women, as you can see. In our Department of Transport, we are a women's affair, women's league. Wathinta abafazi, wathinta imbokodo. So malibongo igama lamakhosikazi. So they are in charge here, all of them, and so on. So I would like for them to add, and if you've got questions, you can ask, but we'll take you through Ayanda also to showcase some of the work we continue to do. We are opening up the economy with all the measures. This place is going to be busy again. But when it gets busy, it must find us ready. It does not mean when the regulations are being slowed down, certain things we must abandon. It's the new life. I sometimes forget my mask at home and I have to turn back. And then I saw Matthew Posa the other day, he did not see me. He could not enter the restaurant because he didn't have a mask and he was busy on the phone. Hey, where is my mask? Can you send me a mask? And this is my former Treasurer General. So I saw him there looking for a mask. And that restaurant refused him to enter, despite his status. That's good, because we're preserving life. As much as people want to have fun and do certain things, let us not miss the boat and do things that they will take us back. And till this far, we have survived the storm. Many of our people have passed away during the coronavirus, but as a country led by Cyril Ramaphosa, we have put up a big fight. Now the fight we've got to fight is the fight of reclaiming our economy. You know, before COVID-19, our economy was in a bad shape. COVID-19 came and basically, did all the things that happened to our economy, closed down, people losing work and all of that. And we've got to reclaim our economy. We've got to set our economy back on the recovery plan. And that's where we're going. We know when the airlines open and the place begin to be abuzz with people, we're back on track. The economy is functioning. And what is important is what measures government is going to take to bring the economy back on a mission for recovery. As you can see, the reports this week, which are not shocking, in a sense of being shocked that we're not expecting that. We expected that there will be contraction in the economy, 51%. What Stats SA have actually told us within the period of April and so on. It is to be expected given the impact of coronavirus in our country. The question for us is how are we going to respond to that? So we're going back, and a part of opening this economy is not to put our people at risk. We will look at countries, in relation to their performance, as and when people, because it is summer season, they're gonna be coming our direction. And then how do we do that? How do we benchmark ourselves with other countries? If you look at the map, the digital map, and you look at it, you will see that there is a lot of traffic movement in the world, except in the African continent. And you see next door here in Tanzania and everywhere else, they are opening up. We've got to open up at some point, but it will be guided. And the NCCC is seized with these particular matters under the president. So we are doing our work. We are evaluating, looking at what needs to be done in the new normal, in terms of how we are going to fly. You want to go away, come back, and all of that. So what is the new normal? What is the new normal, and how does it actually affect us? But thank you very much to the media for always giving us an audience. You are not making us a favor. You are giving us an audience in order to transmit information to the people. We want to thank you for that because all the time you are always with us when we make these important pronouncements. So I'm going to give Fundi, and then I'm going to also give Poppy to be the last to speak, and then the manager of OR Tambo will field questions if there's any you want to ask about OR Tambo, what is happening here, and all of that. So I give to Ayanda, and you can also ask me questions. Fundi? Water, please.
Okay. Thank you very much, Minister. Afternoon, members of the media. My name is Fundisi Tebe, the Chief Operating Officer of Airports Company South Africa. Mine is just really to give a brief overview to say that the passenger confidence in the system in aviation is definitely growing. We've seen it in the numbers. I must, however, declare that the numbers compared to last year of passengers has dropped significantly. We have seen as an airports company that we've lost 97% of passengers compared to where we were last year. And that's to be expected. However, my message is definitely the numbers are growing. The airports are safe. We really implore for passengers to come prepared in terms of the journey, ensuring, because we will always maintain legislative standards around PPE, ensuring that passengers arrive having completed their medical declarations to really make the passenger journey a very smooth and quick one. To date, Minister mentioned in level 3 that started seeing our operations with 4 airlines being Mango, being FlySafair, being Airlink, as well as SemAir. We saw in June 30,000 passengers for this particular airport that's departing and arriving. We saw an increase in July, which is why I'm saying that there is definitely an increase in passenger confidence, growing to 80,000. Now in the month of August, dropped slightly to a number of about 70,000. So I still maintain that we will start to see, as the season gets better, as the travel gets becoming really quite desirable for passengers, the numbers will continue to increase. We are ready, we are prepared, and we welcome all the passengers to come through in their numbers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, COO. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear now from the regulator, Civil Aviation Authority, Ms. Bopikoza.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Minister. I think from the Civil Aviation Authority side, our responsibility is mainly to ensure compliance with the regulations and the directions that the Minister has approved and pronounced on. To date, the Minister has approved 18 airports to be operating, and we are hoping that in the next few weeks or few days or so, we will see additional airports also being reopened for a restart. But I must indicate that generally in terms of compliance by the airport operators, not only AXA, but all airports that have been opened thus far, we have seen a good compliance from the airport side. Minister has also indicated that we do have pockets where other people decide not to comply with the directions in terms of wearing masks and ensuring that the idea to sanitization. We want to indicate that that kind of behavior cannot be tolerated. We do have cases, Minister, where some passengers, in fact, have been arrested upon arrival at their destinations. And that is not what we want to see, because we want to keep the issues of compliance to a level that they are intended to. So just maybe to or rather indicate once more that compliance, if you decide that you want to fly, you must also decide that you want to comply. It cannot be that, as Minister was indicating, we want to ensure that everyone is safe. If your safety matters to you, you must also know that the safety also matters to the person who is next to you. So, Minister, we generally want to applaud the airports, we want to applaud even the passengers who have been flying, adhering to the rules, and also to urge those that think that if you are not complying, it will be something that will not be tolerated. Passengers must know that when you are going to take a flight, you must adhere to all regulations and directions in place. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to change the program slightly. I know that we were looking forward to a walk and talk where you would ask the questions as we go along, but I think let's seize the moment now that we're here. We can ask the questions that we have. Sipho, yes? Yes, please.
Sipho Stuurman from SABC. Minister, you talked about the national coronavirus and non-hospital looking at possibly opening international borders. Is this for the summer season going to December that you'll be opening these international borders, and are we going to look at the countries if there's no infections, or we will open generally for international flights. Also, there was an announcement here on which just said that some passengers have been arrested for failing travel regulations. Do you have the numbers of how many passengers have been arrested, and what are some of the incidents that led to them being actually arrested?
Thank you so much, Linda. I'm going to ask you to project a little bit because you're competing against a...
All right, a Q&A session in progress there at Fikile Mbalula, who's the Transport Minister. He was inspecting the premises at the OR Tambo International Airport to ensure that the airport adheres to COVID-19 regulations. And those were live visuals there coming out of the airport. Our reporter Sipho Stuurman is there. We'll certainly touch base with him a little later on.
And all of that that we participate in, and then they come to the National Command Council and give a report and recommendation about opening up of the international, whether or not international travel must actually be open. One of the things that will be considered is high risk to South Africa, countries. And at the same time, you remember where we started before level 5? We started by differentiating different countries and grouping them in terms of high risk countries, low risk, and all of that. That's what we'll continue to look at. But secondly, what we're looking at is when people come to our country, what are the measures we must undertake, and learning from other countries. As you can see, the countries are opening up in the world, from the US, everywhere else in Europe. Travel has started to flow in and out. It's busy. And we will also look at that. So that we don't really do things that will take us back as a country. Because the first coronavirus person came from out of the country to South Africa. So those are the things that we will actually look at. In terms of the time frames and all of that, when will that happen? Obviously that will happen very soon in terms of the movement to other levels. And it will happen very soon based on the empirical evidence and evaluation that would have been made. So the point that we bring to your attention, which you ask this question all the time, is that we are dealing with that matter. It's on our radar. We are looking at it and looking at it with a view of opening up. And if we do, to what extent are we doing it at risk to us, and how do we mitigate the risks for us ourselves? We will not be locked all the time and so on. So borders will open, including in the region and all of that, with time also that is being considered. So we're looking at these things all the time, and we evaluate and all the time. It doesn't just happen. Like it happens abruptly, open up, and it doesn't work like that. So there is serious work that goes into this work before any pronouncement by the president. Should the president pronounce, you must know that serious work has actually been undertaken by different departments in relation to international travel and so on and so on. So that will happen soon. We are considering that as a department, working with other departments. So very soon, international travel will be open, and we will announce measures as and when that happens. How is it going to happen for ourselves in South Africa? Yes. Or the different kind of complaint. There is a complaint, one, that people don't put up their masks. There is no sanitizing. Of course, sanitizing does not happen on board, because the aeroplane is highly inflammatory. So you are only allowed to sanitize before you enter and when you are in this space. But when you are on board, you are expected to put on your mask. You are expected to put on your mask, and then you are further protected by HEPA, high efficiency particulate air filters. All right? And then Poppy can explain that, because when it's explained by me, you are quick to accuse me about qualifications. So Poppy can explain that, but HEPA is not something new, but it has actually been enhanced to help us to be in a position to fight any form of virus that is floating airborne. We are now being told that coronavirus is airborne. It stays on air for less than 5 seconds. And therefore, HEPAs are actually helping us in that particular regard. And there are measures we have introduced that the plane will not be full to capacity, to enable the plane at the back to accommodate anyone who can be having symptoms during the flight. You will report to the cabin crew and all of that if there is any symptom. And then you will be put at the back of the aircraft. When we disembark, you will then be referred to the authorities, which is Ports Health. And that is why we don't open up any airport without certain things being confirmed. Because we expect every airport, starting with OR Tambo, to have Ports Health and all of that. So those are the measures that we actually look at. So you'll be surrendered there, and then they'll look at you and test you and decide, and so on. Now, the Ministry of Health has also introduced an app that we can use in the process to enhance our fight against coronavirus. We have to continue to popularize that in this fight and so on. So we will get into an aircraft which is a flight SAFA, SAA. So or SAFA, but we will be on SAFA to Durban and then look at that and so on. And airlines to follow the regulations. So if you get into an airline and you don't sanitize, don't be shocked, because they don't use sanitize on board. You are supposed to sanitize on your way to the aircraft, not inside. And that is what actually happened. But inside the aircraft, you're supposed to put on your mask all the time. So all the time, mask on inside the aircraft till disembarkation. So that's what must happen. And that is why there is no social distancing, because we have now introduced HEPA in relation to that. So I've always explained that we can't have HEPA in the taxis. Don't ask me again why we don't have that in the taxis. It's not possible, because the aircraft, as you look at it, it is compressed. Once you get into the aircraft, they close the thing and so on. It's totally different from a taxi. Actually, the scientists are arguing that the safest space you are at in this time is the aircraft. It's just like when there is a lightning, the safest place to be at is inside your car. Once you close your doors, you are inside your car. The best wish, it will never find you inside the car. And then they say in science, your shoes must be rubber. You know, they must have rubber so that the friction does not affect you to an extent that the lightning can actually strike you. So there are scientific measures that prove why you are safe when you are on board of the aircraft more than when you are actually outside. But those can be explained. But what is important for us is to maintain the measures. So we are not here to argue with scientists. We follow the measures, and we follow what they want us to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Minister Mbalula. Thank you to the COO and the CEO. Colleagues, I think we can now take our cameras. I don't know if you want to leave your tripods for the walkabout. We can just quickly maybe leave the tripods in the media room, take the cameras with, and let's go for a walk. Thank you very much.
We're taking a walk, or we're going to the aircraft?
The Minister, it's on the way.
Okay, it's on the way. Fine. Who's leading?
Yeah, it won't be a long one.
Okay.
So, Minister, originally when passengers were coming through here, hotel was stationed here. So now what is in place, we still have security that check for documents, that a person is authorized to fly, and the same security, they are providing a multi-layered approach. So they will check the temperature. In the event that the temperature is so elevated, through the support of SABC, there's a standard operating procedure that allows that security to call hotel to come handle this matter. The passenger then goes through, does the normal check-in, then will take you where the hotel is situated, which is not